So here we are, we're back in our world now. And obviously I've made a couple of changes. Firstly, I've set my game so I'm now in creative, so I've got full access to everything in the block types. And I've also made it always day. I've turned the weather cycle off because when you're doing work, when you're building, these are actually quite useful things to do. And obviously you can see my coordinates are in there as well. So we talk about documenting your work. Now, there are a number of things in Minecraft Education that you can use to do that. We've got the camera and the book and quill. We've also got some additional boards that we can add in that allow us to write stuff. So if we look at those first. Right, so let's go. So here we're stood in front of our houses. So let's find them. So there are three sizes, first of all, of board, sign, whatever you want to sort of call them. They look a bit like chalkboards. They're black and white. Our first one is our board. Not our board, sorry. We'll come to that one. Our slate. So we can type in, we can search the inventory, and we find it here. It's slate. It looks like a sign, and it's the same size as a sign. We've then got the poster. And the final one is the board. You can see that's there. They get bigger in size, and you can sort of see that from there. When we place them, start with the slate, we get a text box, so we can start to enter in, for instance, and this is open so anyone can write anything on that. If anyone comes to the world, they can change it. So if you're setting up a world, and this is one for teachers, you could put in some slates or some boards where you wanted your students to do something, and they could write on them and explain what they've done. If you don't, you can check locked, and then anybody else comes in, especially if it's in adventure mode, they can't do anything. But that's the slate. If we move on to the poster, so that's the second one, it's number 2 on my hotbar, and I'll place that right next to it, and we can see the poster. It is twice the size, so you've got twice that space. And then we move on to the board, finally. We're going to put that slightly further away because it's considerably bigger. You can get a lot of text on these, and we can see it's there. So it's effectively the size of, it's 2 posters high and then the same there. So you've got lots of space, you've got lots of text on there. So those in themselves are really useful. The other tools we've got, of course, are the camera and the book and quill, or the writable book as it sometimes gets called. So if we call up our inventory again, I'm going to start off, we're going to type in camera. You see it's here. I'm going to get that. I'm going to add that to my hotbar, and whilst I'm still here, I'm also going to type in book, and then it's book and quill, but again, we can shorthand it, a book, and we put that there. So now we've got 2 more objects that will allow us to record what we're doing in Minecraft. So it might be you're just doing a bit in an adventure. Your teacher's asked you to go and find something or to do something, and you want to evidence it. So I get my camera, I've got it up here. It's currently in slot 4 in my inventory, and I can just simply hold down the right mouse button to use it. And if I hold it down, you'll notice it letterboxes my screen. I've got those black bars that appear at the top and the bottom. Then if I let go, it takes the middle section of the screen. So where I found this village, I could go around, take some pictures. And these all get saved to the portfolio, which is another item in your inventory that you can find. And it just stores all your pictures, and they all go into there automatically. The other function the camera has, and you've got to make sure you're placing it far enough away from yourself to begin with, is you can put it down, and effectively you can take a selfie with it. So if I place my camera down now, you can see it's there, and it's not really doing anything particularly. But if I right-click on it now, you see we get a little bit of a timer. It starts to flash. It will track you, and then it'll take a picture. So you can actually appear in your own picture. So you can document what you're doing if you're doing a build. You might take pictures of it at different stages, and so on. But then we want to do something with our pictures. So I'm going to go to my book and quill, and I'm just spinning my mouse wheel here to move between my different sort of hotbar slots, but I can press the numbers as well. So there's my book and quill, and you notice I've got right click to write. So I open it up, and here's my book. Now I can have around 50 pages. You can't put pictures in a volume, but we get various options: sign and export. And do be careful with these. Once you've signed your book, which puts a title on it, it seals it, and you can't do anything else with it. So it's quite important that you don't sign it until you're finished. But now we can start out. So Having explored, I found a village. And you can write, you can fill the text, and so on. But then maybe you want to put something in. So we've got this pencil down at the bottom. If we click on that, we've got a bunch of options. Add a new page, delete, and then we've got this one that looks like a picture. And quite unsurprisingly, it is. When I click on it, it loads my portfolio, and here are those 3 pictures that I've already taken. So I can click on that, it puts it in, and I can add a little title to the picture. Here I am in the village. Again, obviously, short of space. So maybe think about, so maybe I'll just go me in the village. There we go, and you have space there. And I can go for the next one. And what I might do is use one page to talk about what I've seen. So one of the houses in the village. And then on the next page, I could add the picture. And I could go for it. And this might be stages of my build. So picture the first stage, explaining what I've done. And here I can go back and forth through the pages of my book as well. Now, the book is useful. Also, if things are written, we can use the immersive reader. We'll do another video on all the accessibility things later. I've got export. And what this will allow me to do now is actually export the contents of my book as a PDF file as it is. So it's still open, which is really, really useful. So I could export it at the end of the lesson, but maybe I've not finished what I'm doing. So I don't want to sign my book, but I want to put this evidence to show what I've done so far. So I could export that, and then the next time on, I can carry on. When we're done, though, we could sign the book. So we click sign, go to the front cover. So it's only short. I can't put I found on there. It's too short, so I'll just put my village. It says who it's by. It said once it's signed, it'll no longer be editable. But do be aware, because once you click sign and close, you see on my hotbar now, it looks like an enchanted book, and I can only open it or export it. I could, of course, drop it, and I could put that on a lectern within my world. I could put it on a bookshelf. So there are all sorts of uses you can do with that. But lots of ways that you can document and evidence what you're doing. So if it's a challenge in a lesson where you really need to give some proof of what you're doing, if you want to explain it, to give reasons why you've done things, the book and the quill coupled with the camera are really, really useful.